Hey there, my name is Shane Craddock, and this is the Inner Edge podcast, where I share a different take on how to lead and live a sustainable, high-performance life. Over the course of different episodes, I'm going to challenge the belief that tension, stress, and struggle are essential to success and creativity. My experience is that there's an easier way, there's a better way, and indeed there's an essential way that we need to explore for the times that we live in. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and explore. Hi there, welcome to today's episode where we're going to be talking a little bit about being careful about what you say to yourself. And I guess the idea for this episode has been triggered by three different conversations I think I've had with people over the last 2 weeks who were saying versions of this. I just need to get to the end of the year. I just need to get over the finish line and I can just kind of collapse. And I think I've probably become more attuned to it for whatever reason, maybe when one or two people said it to me. So I'm hearing it quite a bit. And then it becomes almost the accepted norm. You kind of hear it. People say this. And I think it's a dangerous thing to do because I used to do it. I think it used to cause me problems in terms of getting sick and just being wrecked. And I just don't think it's the best way to go. But also I think within it is a valuable insight and lesson that everything you say to yourself does affect the direction of your behavior and your actions. And how we use that can be an incredible tool, an asset, or can be a dangerous self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's what I want to explore a little bit about today. And it's also something that I explore in depth in my book, The Inner CEO. So if this is of interest, I would recommend you check the book out. And as I explain in the book, we all are always talking to ourselves. We have an inner narrator in the book. I call that it's an innie voice team. I have used the metaphor that there are these tiny beings inside us called the innies, and they do different things. They control our thinking, they control our beliefs, they control how we see the world. In particular, though, they also have an inner narration team. And that team is active now for you as you're listening to this, because your inner voice, whether you realize it or not, it could be at the forefront of your mind, it could be at the back of your mind, but it's there definitely kind of going, oh no, I don't like this. I've heard this before, or this is new. I haven't heard this before, or where's he going with this? Or I'm not really in great form today. I don't want to listen to this. I'll listen to it some other time. So it's there all the time, isn't it? Hello, inner voice team. How are you? Right. This is me entertaining myself here in the lonesomeness of my recording little studio here. Anyway, but as I explain in my book, that narration part of you isn't the real you. It's kind of part of you. It's part of your inner voice team. But the real you is the one that's aware of that. Now, if we don't know a distinction, if we don't have a distinction between the inner voice and the awareness of the inner voice, I think that creates a problem. Now, something else I explain in the book is that your mind, like many people say, well, what is a mind? It's hard to kind of maybe define it sometimes. The dictionary does have a definition, but I'll give you mine. It's simple enough. Your mind is a programmable field of energy. Now, we can expand that to say it allows you to experience the world, because it is an amazing thing. Neuroscientists might say that the mind is the brain in action, or the mind is the brain in action. But for today, I'm going to say that your mind, or one aspect of it, is that it's a programmable field of energy. So if I say to you, what's 4 times 4 or 5 times 5? You probably should know the answer by previously somewhere early in your life, having done repetition of those 4 times tables or the 5 times tables. Or if you learn how to ride a bicycle, or on a skateboard or ski or drive a car, when you started, it was clunky and awkward, and then it becomes, through programming and repetition, it becomes a habit. And we've got great habits and we've got bad habits. But in the context of what I'm saying or talking about today, it could be simple really as, look, I can do this versus I can't do this. So I'm almost moving beyond habits into just in the moment today. What am I saying to myself? And the fact that what I'm saying to myself does affect the direction of my behavior and my actions, because it also directs how I feel and my view on things. Yet we rarely ever question whether it's reality. Now, usually it probably isn't. Now, how I see people also is affected by what I'm saying to myself. Like if I think somebody is lazy, I will just see more evidence of that. It's not that I have to ignore it and pretend Pollyanna-like that they're not lazy. So it's just being aware that what I'm saying to myself can wind myself up. It can put myself in the wrong direction. It can make me angry. It can make me have blind spots. And it's just an incredibly powerful thing to be aware of, that what you say to yourself really impacts your experience of life and of the world and of the people around you. And that it is possible to, well, it should at least challenge your thinking. Surely that would be right. The great psychologist, the American psychologist, William James, there's a quote attributed to him, which, if you really sit with it, has incredible power in it. And it goes like this: the greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude. Now, I know many people, maybe some even listening to this, who I would say overall have got a great attitude. But I'm talking about at a micro level today. I'm talking about, forget about your attitude in general. Everybody, including Shane, needs to challenge and question some of the things that they're saying to themselves today, because they more than likely are not based on reality. One of the people that I caught saying that statement that I said at the start of this podcast, which was, I just need to get to the end of the year, Shane. I just need to get over the finish line. I'm so tired. I'm gonna just collapse at the end of the year. And by the way, that's what I would often have said to myself, but I just found it not to be productive. And actually, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Simple as it sounds. So we caught it. I talked to him about the power of programming your mind, just in a very gentle level, and the subtlety of it as well, and the power of it. And they could see themselves, oh yeah, no, I've actually directed the missile in my mind off in a different direction, off in a direction that I don't want to go. I've just accepted it. And actually, I've said it to other people who kind of have agreed with me. So now we're all in it together. And as I'm recording this, it's, the end of November 2023. So it's coming towards the end of the year for 2023 into Christmas time. But what happened there with that conversation with that client was they said, okay, hang on. How do I change it? What do I change it to? And I said, well, can you see yourself coming into the end of the year with better energy? I mean, a year is only a psychological construct anyway. Like we as humans, we've created it. January, February, and so on up to December. We've created the calendar year, but psychologically, we can trick ourselves into it. In some cases, it's quite nice to turn a corner, turn a page. That's quite useful psychologically. But it's not so useful if you see the end of the year as when you collapse. As when you just, I'm going to reset everything, but collapse at the same time. But you can change it by changing your attitude, which means changing the inner narration, changing what you're thinking. So as I said to my client, what needs to change for you to come into the end of the year with better energy and also turn the corner of the year into the new year with even better energy? And that prompted a much better conversation and also put his mind in a different direction. And in a way, in that kind of context, your mind is like a computer in terms of you can program it to run a certain way. And if you think about a computer program, once the program starts, it kind of has to run to completion unless it gets disrupted or Control Alt Delete, etc. It'll run. And your mind is kind of the same. So everything that we think is a potential program for the computer part of our mind. There's different parts of our mind for me that are not like a computer, but there is definitely a computer part of our mind. So everything that we think is a potential program. The question is, what are we thinking? At least ask the question, what am I thinking? And at least challenge it and say, well, is it serving the moment here? Or is it causing me stress? Like for my client there who was programming themselves to have a really tired, flat end of year fall over the line, that wasn't helping the situation because their mood was all over the place. And they're involved in critical projects at the moment for the business. And their state, their mood, as I explained, particularly in the book, that's a key variable in high performance and getting the best out of yourself and others. And so thinking like that is not good, even though your mind will say, yeah, but I'm wrecked, Shane, because I'm doing 10 projects, or you don't understand my year. I've been hammered in my personal life as well as my business. I get it. I've been there. I've had one of those years myself. But I know myself that my energy, my state is critical to everything. And that's the change in that doesn't have to wait till December or the end of the year or next quarter or whenever I go on a retreat. It starts today. But really that starts with considering that everything you think is a potential program. So what are you saying to yourself about your day today? What about your week? What about your year? As in maybe the past, the year to date, or even the year to come. What are you saying to yourself about your team, about your business? Everything is a potential program. What are you saying to yourself about you, your confidence levels, your relationships, your health? What are you saying to yourself? Because if there's anything to take out of this particular episode, it's just to realize how sensitive your mind is to everything you say and also everything you think. So my recommendation is to be careful about what you say to yourself because your mind is always listening. That's it for this week. Ciao for now.